This is ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Anything that we can do to help decrease traffic, we are pursuing. But the increased development on the island is primary concern to most of our residents.
Our barrier islands, beautiful beaches, bad traffic, 2 ways on and 2 ways off equals daily traffic nightmares. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the traffic issues on the barrier islands, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin tonight with breaking news. An arrest has been made in the robbery and double murder last Friday at Longboat Key's Zota Beach Resort. Daryl Hanna Jr. is under arrest tonight. He was taken into custody without incident in East Bradenton. He is being charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder and 1 count of armed robbery. The hotel's night desk manager and security guard were found shot to death Friday morning. Security video captured a suspect fleeing the scene, and we'll have more on that story coming up tonight at 11. Today, we learned the price a local woman will pay for the death of her 11-year-old daughter, whose body was found stuffed in a freezer. Kishana Thomas pled no contest to second-degree murder in the death of her daughter, Janiyah. The girl weighed only 44 pounds when she died. Her mother charged with murder, child abuse, and abuse of a dead body.
I think this was certainly the most horrific child death I ever was involved in the prosecution of.
I think it's good on both ends, but you know, at the same time, these kids they'll never be normal. I mean, the trauma that they went through under that parent and just the stuff that they saw. So it'll still probably be rough for those kids.
Thomas will serve 65 years in prison. It has now been a year since that bizarre shooting in Punta Gorda, which claimed the life of a beloved librarian. 73-year-old Mary Knowlton was accidentally shot and killed by a police officer during a citizens training academy. Officer Lee Cole said he thought the gun was loaded with blanks, but it had real bullets. Cole has been fired and is facing manslaughter charges, and the police chief remains on paid administrative leave, but was acquitted of culpable negligence. Today, the city released a statement which says, in part, Mary was such a vibrant part of our community and will always be remembered fondly. An internal affairs investigation continues. Manatee County students go back to class tomorrow, and when they do, there is a good chance that we'll have some homework on day 1. A school board member said last night that should be a no-no, but school superintendent Diana Green believes teachers should have the final say.
I believe it's the classroom's teacher responsibility, and it should lie with them. They're the ones with the students 5 days a week.
The no homework policy became headlines when Marion County decided to get rid of it at elementary schools. Manatee County's newest high school now has a name. Last night, the school board approved North River High. It will be built in Parrish, a fast-growing area north of the Manatee River. It is scheduled to open in 2 years, just in time for the 2019 school year. Still needed a principal, a mascot, and school colors. Great. There is a new app making it even easier for bullies to terrify kids at school. It's called Saraya, and now it can send messages anonymously. It is rated for users 17 and up, but many children are downloading it to bully others.
When a student is a victim of cyberbullying, it really impacts the student's ability to perform in school. And whether it takes place inside of school or outside of school, we're allowed to intervene in order to help protect our students.
Parents can set parental controls on their kids' phones to block downloading the app. Another condo building is going up in Sarasota. A groundbreaking held today for the Mark. Construction is set to begin on the new 12-story condo tower on State and Pineapple Streets. The building will include 157 units and 35,000 square feet of retail space.
This thing has been in the proposed development since 2006. It's a long time coming. We're looking forward to all of this business.
Now it's time for weather. Bob, we have a lot less rain out there today than we have earlier in the week.
Yeah, things have calmed down a little bit due to some drier air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. Now, there is one area in particular that's going to actually start to explode a little bit more so. Let's go to the radar and show you what's happening right now. You can see it near Wauchula and just north of Arcadia. That line of showers and thunderstorms now making its way toward the west-southwest. at around 10 miles an hour. We'll kind of take a look at that and see other showers are popping up along the sea breeze front. That sea breeze front is just very visible there, that thin line of green that you see into east central portions of Manatee County right now. And that is going to continue, it looks like, to actually start these showers and storms. It's right here. And as this area right here moves into it, you're going to see an explosion of storms in the next half hour or so. In fact, you got a couple of different surface boundaries, if you will, kind of colliding together, this one here and this one. And so these storms near Duet will intensify as they make their way off toward the west-southwest. Now, as far as the other areas are concerned, there's not much going on. You expect a brief shower or two along that sea breeze front through this evening. We are also watching an area that is right here. There seems to be a little low pressure area developing just over the northern central portions of the Bahamas tonight. The National Hurricane Center only giving this a 10% chance of developing, but we saw what happened with Emily, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's mainly moving to our south. And then this one is the first hurricane of the season. This is Hurricane Franklin, and it has just been upgraded as of 5 o'clock this afternoon. And you can see the explosion of storms as it's getting better organized. It could actually have its winds up to about 85 miles an hour before it makes landfall into the coast of Mexico on into Thursday morning. As a Category 1 hurricane, it looks like right now, the pressure at 984 millibars, but that's expected to drop as it's over some very warm water. We'll talk more about the tropics a little bit later in this newscast. 99, what it feels like right now. Dew point is at 74, and temperatures currently across the state into the upper 80s to low 90s where it's not raining, but it's cooled in Jacksonville. Gainesville also has cooled down. 88 now in Miami, and temperatures around here still in the low 90s, so still pretty hot.
I was going to say not so much.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, many cities deal with traffic jams, but the barrier islands are supposed to be our refuge from big city traffic. Think again. What's the answer when we come back?
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now, 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
Start your day with a new Good Morning Suncoast team. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m.
You remember one of Yogi Berra's famous lines, "Nobody goes there anymore, it's too crowded"? That's a real concern in places like Longboat Key and Holmes Beach. So many folks want to be there. No one wants to deal with the traffic. Kate Flexter is here with more. Kate.
Well, thanks, Alan. During peak season, traffic can back up for miles on the barrier islands. So is it the cost of living in paradise, or is there more that can be done? From white sand beaches to crystal blue waters, Longboat Key is paradise for Tom Freewald. He's been visiting the island since the 1960s.
When we first started to come here, this road wasn't paved. Gulf of Mexico Drive was only paved to Publix.
He's drawn to its seclusion, but during peak season, it becomes a bit too remote.
It's almost impossible to get off the island in the middle of the day in March.
The population goes from around 5,000 during the summer months to more than 20,000 in the winter and spring. And with only one main drag and two ways on and off the island, traffic can back up for miles, a predicament with ripple effects.
It's the businesses who last year had hundreds, if not thousands, of cancellations at the restaurants during peak hours because people called up and said, I am stuck in traffic, I can't get there.
But it's not just an issue of convenience. The median age on the island is about 72, and plenty of residents seek medical care off the island.
We have some parts of Gulf of Mexico Drive that have a left turn lane, so ambulances have a place to maneuver. But there's a lot of places where they have to go in the grass.
Director of Planning, Zoning, and Building for Longboat Key, Elena Ray, says the issue actually originates off the island.
We are essentially held hostage by those bottlenecks. And there are times during season when we will have a 3-mile backup.
Plus, Gulf of Mexico Drive is a state-owned road, as are the bridges on either end of the key.
So we are at the mercy of the Florida Department of Transportation for any improvements or changes to Gulf of Mexico Drive.
FDOT and Longboat Key are working on a barrier island traffic study and a corridor study to improve conditions for pedestrians, bicyclists, and drivers. Still, though, Longboat Key residents have protested new development on the island, including plans for new hotels, arguing adding any additional cars to the road will only add to the existing problem.
Anything that we can do to help decrease traffic, we are pursuing. But the increased development on the island is primary concern to most of our residents.
Plenty of solutions have been proposed, from a water taxi to a trolley system. But Freewald says the best option is to eliminate the traffic, not accommodate it, and make sure someone is held accountable.
Right now, there's nobody who loses their job if the traffic's bad. Nobody. There's not one single person whose pay or bonus or number of vacation days suffers when the traffic continues to get worse. Nobody. And we need to fix that.
FDOT will review the results of those traffic studies and decide how to move forward.
Kate, thank you. Coming up, a local leader, a man with a plan, as we drive on over to the trapezoid.
Describe a battery or bulb, and Batteries Plus bulbs will have it. Tell us what's broken on your smartphone, and we'll fix it.
I need a new battery for my phone.
And a new screen.
What did you do?
Visit batteriesplus.com for a store near you.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetzy. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
Some of the opera world's biggest stars sopranos are headed to the Suncoast this season. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we'll sit down with Maestro Victor Durenzi and hear about what is planned on stage this year, including a world premiere. Urbanite Contemporary Theater previews their newest sci-fi-oriented show. Plus, this weekend's McCurdy's comedy headliner and Fins from Sharky's on the Pier is in the kitchen.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
The wait is finally over, and on August 26th, you will be one of the first. Race into the future by conquering the Fort Hamer Bridge. At the Fort Hamer Bridge Run, it doesn't matter if you run or walk, because every step you take, you will be part of history. The Fort Hamer Bridge Run, coming Saturday, August 26th. Register today at forthamerbridgerun.com.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. They are the jewels of the Suncoast, the barrier islands, Longboat Key, Holmes Beach, Anna Maria Island, Lido Key. So beautiful, they're impossible to leave, literally. On Longboat Key, one main drag, only 2 ways on, 2 ways off, a population that swells from 5,000 during the summer to 20,000 in season. There are growing public safety concerns with that, and the state is doing a traffic study, but so far no answers, or are there? Joining us today to talk about this is ABC 7 reporter Kate Flexter, Captain Sherman Baldwin of Paradise Boat Tours, and Jean Palin, the Vice Chair of the Holmes Beach City Commission.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all for joining us. And Kate, I want to start with you because you have the perfect story that kind of describes the problem.
Right. Well, so I was trying to make it to a live shot one time. It was peak of season, and I got stuck in traffic. And not only did I miss the live shot, I was stuck in 3 hours of traffic just trying to get back to the station afterwards. So it's kind of that rush hour traffic, but times a million.
And Jean, this is something that I'm sure you hear about every single day.
Every single day, particularly as a commissioner, it's when are you going to do something about this? And would that it were in our power as a city to do something about it?
Well, that's the question, because one of your colleagues was just in Kate's story who said that, you know, when something like this happens, you want to fire someone, but there's nobody to fire.
Yes, that's absolutely right. I mean, on Anna Maria Island, we have 30, 40, 50,000 people at a time, particularly on holidays and in season. On the island, again, the same very limited 2-lane road, the length of the island. And it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
I would imagine there might be some people who are watching this tonight who would say to you, you know what, you chose to live there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure they would, but what we didn't choose to do was to continue to build right across on the mainland thousands of homes and hotels that add to the problem, nor did we choose to have an advertising effort for tourism that brings thousands of visitors. That wasn't our choice.
So at least the building and construction across the water was not something that was even part of your planning.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Captain, I want to get to you because in this you see an opportunity to relieve the traffic congestion by water taxis.
Absolutely. In fact, you know, I know there's communities across this country that would give their eye teeth to have a resource like what we have, and that's our waterways. I mean, we're blessed with that opportunity. The Intercoastal Waterway and the Manatee River in Southwest Florida are tailor-made to alleviate land-based infrastructure congestion. And by the way, one thing that I want to say is I don't believe it's just high season where we have these clogged roads. You give me a Saturday afternoon in September and we can back up on our bridges. This is a year-round real problem, and right now, you know, owning a business on Anna Maria Island, I see where it's starting to actually slow growth.
How?
Because people just can't get there in a way that makes it worthwhile, particularly our locals that like to come out for the weekend. You know, you live in Bradenton Beach or Sarasota, you come out to Anna Maria Island, it's like going to Key West. It's one of the most beautiful places on earth.
There have been these ideas about water taxis. You know, it has not come to fruition yet. There's been some issue, at least in Sarasota, about where the water taxis will dock. Mm-hmm. What's the latest with that as far as you know?
Yeah, we've been approved to put in a facility right at the 10th Street Boat Basin by the Van Wezel, and we intend to do a large-scale marine operation very soon. I mean, stay tuned for this. I mean, we have done 2.5 years of study, 2 years of being vetted by the various municipalities, at least a year with the city of Sarasota. You may remember that on February 21st, we were conditionally approved by the City Commission to move forward on finding an embarkation point for our ferry operation, and we've got that done, and now we're going back in front of the city, and we hope to have operations running shortly.
All right, we're going to just take a quick break. No traffic jams here, just a break for the weather. We'll pick up the conversation in a moment.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
This is important news for women who were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and then suffered permanent hair loss. The chemotherapy drug Taxotere has been linked to permanent alopecia or permanent hair loss. Some women administered the breast cancer chemotherapy drug Taxotere have suffered from permanent hair loss on scalp, eyebrows, and eyelashes. The FDA has urged doctors and the manufacturer to warn women administered Taxotere of the risk of permanent hair loss. If you or a loved one were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and suffered permanent hair loss, you may have a right to a cash award and medical expenses. If you suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy for breast cancer, call the law offices of Davis & Crump at the number below right now to find out if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
No theater lover's bucket list is complete without the classic black comedy Arsenic and Old Lace. Two adorable old ladies who just happen to poison their tenants and bury them in their basement. Fun and farcical, this hilarious play is heating up the summer at the Player Center from August 9th through the 20th. Call 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. You'll die laughing when you see Arsenic and Old Lace.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Explore amazing merchants on the Suncoast. Find great prices, products, and services. Go to mysuncoast.com to buy local today.
Our conversation about the crippling traffic backups on the barrier islands continues in a moment, but right now let's get a check on the weather with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, one of our contributors, Norm Schimmel, yes, right, Norm Schimmel, sending some great photos. This was sunrise this morning. You can see the moon right there, just about in the middle of the screen, and a lot of sunshine throughout the day today with a heat index up near 102 this afternoon. Well, the Van Wezel webcam looking out toward the Ringling Bridge, showing calm seas out there throughout the day. A lot of sunshine for the beaches, Longboat Key, Anna Maria Island, Siesta Key. Just that if you want to go in the water to take a dip to cool down, it's a little bit hard when the water temperature is 91 degrees right now. The satellite, the radar picture showing a lot of rainfall to the north. There's a little bit more moisture bottled up there. We are starting to see the collision, though, of the east and west coast sea breeze now, and showers are starting to pop up. Now, they won't be sticking around all that long in terms of the duration of the storms, but we could see the firing up of these storms for the next several hours as a result of the surface boundaries that these heavy rainstorms generate. The heavy rain creates little miniature cold fronts, and they collide with other little miniature fronts that are hanging around, and we have pop-up showers and storms now. The activity down near Northport is starting to intensify somewhat. That's right where the sea breeze is, and you can see it quite clearly. There it moving in, there it is moving in, and then the outflow boundary coming in from this storm kind of colliding right there, and that's where the storms are starting to fire up in East Manatee County. Just a few lightning strikes now near Myakka Head and Duet. This shower just within the last half hour has developed east of Parrish. So expect all this to move off to the west and possibly make it all the way to the coastline. We had one shower move through Lakewood Ranch and near Palmair, made it all the way to Siesta, then it kind of fell apart. Other showers spotty at best, just to the east of I-75, making their way to the southwest. Now this sliver of dry air that you see right here is slowly moving in our direction. So we'll see it tonight a little bit, and then it will thin out tomorrow, and then we'll start to see additional moisture come in from this area. This could be a tropical system. The Hurricane Center monitoring it now, you know, how quickly Emily forms, so we have to watch it. 10% chance right now as it makes its way off toward the west. Right now it appears that even if it were to develop, it would stay far enough south not to have a big impact on our weather. Heat index still pretty hot, 99 degrees. That's what it feels like out there. That's because of this number right here, the dew point temperature. That is running high. Anytime you get it 74 or above, it's considered very moist out there. The high today was 3 degrees above the average and 3 degrees shy of the record, which is 96. No rainfall to report, and for the month now, we're an inch and 0.37 below average. Temperatures cooled down in Jacksonville. Orlando still pretty warm at 87 degrees, 90 in Sarasota. The forecast tomorrow doesn't change a whole lot. I think if that dry air slips out and we start to see a little bit more moisture from that system to the east of Miami, we'll see a little bit better chance for showers and storms in the afternoon, a little widespread activity. Talk about widespread. Look at this. This has really exploded throughout the day today. This is Franklin. It was just a 40-mile-an-hour storm yesterday as it made its way across the Yucatan Peninsula, hit the warm water of the southwest Gulf of Mexico, and has really exploded. It's the first hurricane of the season. That's right, the number 6 storm has become a hurricane now. Top winds are at 75. We could see it get up to 85 miles an hour before it makes landfall Thursday morning into the coast of Mexico. More importantly, heavy rainfall as a result of the mountainous terrain here, which just kind of squeezes that rainfall out, will cause life-threatening mudslides throughout that region, as it always does. Right now, the winds are at 75, as I mentioned, could get as high as 85 before it makes landfall. And that was fairly quick from a 40-mile-an-hour storm right on into, again, a hurricane. Now, this one we're watching for the possibility of development. The Hurricane Center giving it a 50% chance of developing. But even if it were to develop, it looks like it's going to move off to the northwest, getting close to the Carolina coast, and then do the bend off to the northeast, kind of around the periphery of a high-pressure ridge located near Bermuda. The forecast for boaters tomorrow, not too bad. Seas running less than 2 feet, really a light chop out there. Water temperature, 91 degrees right now. The low tide at 9:09. Sunset, 8:14. The forecast tonight, scattered showers, a few storms are possible. It'll stay warm and muggy. Tomorrow, a 40% chance for showers and storms in the afternoon and evening, 91. A little bit better chance on Friday. That continues over the weekend. And temperatures, you guessed it, in the low 90s. Al will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
So, how many of us feel completely confident about our financial future? Let's hear some specifics. Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to be a burden to my kids. When my husband died, it took almost all of our savings to give him a proper funeral. I honestly don't know if there's enough to bury me, let alone cover expenses should something happen.
Okay, let's talk solutions. One thing you may want to get in place is a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, which is a Mutual of Omaha company. This is affordable coverage, which provides a cash payment which can cover funeral expenses, bills, and other financial needs, all from a company that's been doing the right thing for its policyholders for over 90 years. Yes, sir.
Do I need medical exams, things like that?
No medical exams. If you're between the ages of 45 and 85, you can call this number, or you can go online and apply for coverage up to $25,000. United of Omaha guaranteed whole life insurance. Call or go online now.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKX Sport Utility for $349 per month, or Lincoln's flagship, the 2017 Continental, for $449 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
There must be some kind of way out of here, Jimi Hendrix once sang. For all we know, he was trying to get off of Longboat Key. Joining us for more, I got you there.
You got me.
ABC 7's Kate Flexter, Captain Sherman Baldwin of Paradise Boat Tours, and Jean Palin, the Vice Chair of the Homeless Beach City Commission. I was wondering if that would play well with our demographic, but I guess it apparently does.
All along the watchtower.
Exactly. It's on I run to it. Kate, you were telling us that this is already having an economic impact.
Well, as far as I understand, it is. On Longboat Key, restaurant owners were saying that they dealt with, dozens, maybe hundreds of cancellations during peak season because people were stuck in traffic and couldn't get to the restaurants that they needed to go to.
Right. And Jean, I guess what you were saying earlier, and this could get a lot of people mad, this seems to be a lack of long-term planning, because this was not your community's decision. This was something that was happening across the water, and one might ask the question, where was the county planning?
Right. It is very frustrating, and I'm used to making people mad, but it's very frustrating as a city commissioner to see the disconnect between the worsening traffic problems on the island and islanders and tourists screaming, we don't want to come back here anymore because of these traffic problems, and then watching the county commission approve the spending by the Tourist Development Council of millions of dollars to bring more and more and more and more tourists here, and the county commission also approving new housing developments like the one that's proposed along the bay, called Aqua by the Bay, which will bring thousands of new houses and a hotel, all of which are going to come to the island.
Have you brought your concerns to the county commission?
Many times.
And what's the reaction?
We don't get a reaction. We get, I would say we get lip service a lot. But what I'm impressed with is that it's the entrepreneurs like Captain Sherman.
I want to get to that in a moment, because the state DOT is doing a traffic study to try to figure this all out. And, I have read that folks like yourself and other elected officials on the different barrier islands are getting frustrated that in the interim, you're not getting a lot of communication.
Getting frustrated from a lot of points of view. One, it's the second or third traffic study that's been done and nothing ever resulted from them. But also, the local officials are not being included in all of the meetings with the state about the study, when they have a lot of good information to give and a lot of feedback to give about the traffic, and they're not being included. So the frustrations are huge, and as we know, they're doing the study, and then that'll take a year, and then it'll take a year to get the results, and then here we are 2 years down the road. And it's so, from the county commission and the state's really point of view, because the state is in there also with this, they ought to be thinking a little longer term, that they're killing the golden goose, or the goose that laid the golden egg, one of those things. They're killing that by unrestricted growth, unrestricted development of tourism, pouring them onto the island without any thought to the long term.
So, Captain, you and others come up with ideas like you have to have a water taxi service. I do have one specific question, that if somebody took, your service over to the mainland, to Sarasota, they would still need transportation to get around.
Yeah, I mean, one part of this, that a water transportation, by the way, on a large scale, 149 passenger boats running like clockwork, with very fast boats so they get places quick. But once they get there, we're already discussing with iRides, which is a new service in Sarasota, and all sorts of Uber and Lyft and free ride programs, because we've got to get people to their ultimate destination. Heck, we've even reached out to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, say somebody from Anna Maria Island would like to go get, they have an annual checkup or maybe some routine procedure done, that the hospital itself would pick them up in advance.
Because there is an issue here of public safety.
You know,
as
and I
we
have to
referred
laugh. I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to laugh at the Florida Department of, and I mean no disrespect to the FDOT, but what is the purpose of having a study about a 2-lane road? You can't go 4-lane. You can't do anything. You're not going to build a, you know, an elevated. It's seriously, it's kind of funny to me, and yet people completely ignore the waterway, which is, you know, the ICW, the Intracoastal Waterway, was a brainchild of George Washington, meant to move commercial traffic.
And Gene, I guess, you know, you were also saying to us that this really kind of shows what, you know, what the captain is doing with his water taxi idea. This is a solution coming out of an entrepreneurial endeavor and not out of government.
Absolutely, and he's doing the kinds of things that government should be doing. If you're going to create the demand, you know, do something to deal with the effects of the demand. And that's not happening except from entrepreneurs. You know, we have the people on the island who are giving free rides for tips to get to restaurants, to get people off the road. We have entrepreneurs working at it.
And we also have to raise the issue. It's not just an economic problem or a lifestyle problem. You know, Kate, I could imagine if somebody has a medical emergency on any of these islands and it's going to take them 3 hours to get off the island, lives could be on the line.
I've interviewed actually someone in the past who said exactly that he was stuck in traffic for hours in the middle of a medical emergency. He didn't call an ambulance, but was using his own car, could not get off the island, and said it was a really scary thing. So I think that public safety definitely comes into play with this.
And Gene, you said earlier, we're killing the goose that laid the golden egg, and you know, tourism dollars is such an integral part of our local economy here. I would imagine that you know, this is not an issue that is not affecting other communities. We talked that you're from New England, you know Cape Cod. You know what it's like to get to Cape Cod on a Friday night or leave Sunday morning. But you know, if this continues to be a problem, you would imagine that people are going to go on vacation elsewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and by the way, there's privately run enterprises that move a lot of people across areas as opposed to car traffic. For instance, a company where I cut my teeth on moves 1 million people a year. Our program, we're hoping to move 600,000 a year plus with it, and that would really immediately have an effect on land-based infrastructure. In addition, by the way, speaking to your good point, is that part of what we have done with our approvals is also reached out to the Coast Guard. We've also reached out to FEMA. We could very possibly be the first one on the scenes if there was a weather situation, like Bob was, you know, follows the weather. There could be a weather situation where we'd be the first vessels or vehicles to be able to move around our area long before roads were clear.
Gene, aside from the possibility of these water taxis, if your concern is that a traffic study is not going to provide real answers just because of the landscape we're dealing with, and you believe that the county commission is not really listening to your concerns, then what do you think the answer is?
Well, I think there are a lot of possible creative answers along with using the waterways.
Absolutely.
One that I've been pushing for years with the county commission is build a parking garage at 75th and Manatee, build a parking garage at 75th and Cortez Road, and then have a shuttle service going back and forth to the island to keep cars off the island to the greatest extent possible. Have free parking in those garages, build a parking garage at Manatee Public Beach and charge a fortune for it. In other words, put incentives in place to keep the cars off the island.
Again, I'll ask you the same question I asked you before. When you have suggested these things, what kind of reaction do you get?
Sort of none. Sort of a, we wish you luck with that.
You know, I think that's changing, Gene. I'll tell you that, because, you know, I speak to exactly what you're talking about. This road to a water ferry approval in this region started 2.5 years ago with me schlepping around with an easel and diagram diagrams to everybody that would listen to me, from civic groups to Barrier Island elected official groups to tourist development councils to pretty much standing on the side of the corner. And yet I've seen, particularly with the Sarasota City Commission of late, I've seen a light bulb go off everybody's head when they finally have somebody with a direct marine experience. A lot of the studies, a Metropolitan Planning Organization did a 2005 water taxi study that wasn't very positive, but they didn't ever ask a captain, the marine, the navigational challenges. And when we studied it, if we said we could get you from downtown Sarasota to Bradenton Beach in 28 minutes, and then from Bradenton Beach to downtown Bradenton in 34 minutes, now that becomes feasible. That's something usable year-round, and that never changes because of the use of the Intercoastal Waterway. It is an option.
All right, you have to take, Kate, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead, you're fine.
Okay. We have to take a quick break. We'll be back with final thoughts when we return.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
I heard about the d06e Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the d06e Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the d06e Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Attention blood thinner users. Thousands of blood thinner users may have been exposed to serious risk by these dangerous medications. If your loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call right now. Call Nightline Legal to speak with an experienced attorney for a free consultation. If we don't win, there is no fee. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-554-3987. Again, that's 1-800-554-3987.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
So what's the answer to the traffic jams on the barrier islands? Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. So what's the answer?
Well, I don't know the answer. It's a big issue, and it's not even just a county issue. I've been sort of county bashing sitting here. But let me say, tourism is the industry of the state of Florida, and we know that. We know that at the city level. We know it well. The problem is, if you just keep more, whether it's new houses or bringing tourists in without thinking of the effects, you're destroying that very charming little Anna Maria Island. We have lost 25% of our residents in the last 5 years, 25%. We now have only 25% of the houses on the island are homesteaded. People actually live there because of this. They come to the island because it's charming, it's old Florida, it's low-key, but with traffic...
Is there a difference between many larger communities do this kind of urban planning, but this is still a small community, maybe kind of caught in a very local ways of dealing with things?
That's certainly possible. I know I'm in the Florida League of Cities, and I'm going to a meeting next week of cities from all over Florida dealing with this same issues.
Captain, where are you in terms of your efforts in the water taxis?
We are ready to go. We are raring to go, and we will have some major announcements about that in the near future, but expect high-speed catamaran, cool in the summer, warm in the winter, able to go any kind of weather in the future of this area within months.
And Kate, again, what kind of sense did you get from other local leaders in terms of their patience in terms of dealing with this?
Well, I think their patience seems to be waning. It seems that they're depending on Florida's Department of Transportation, and of course at the state level things just take longer. That's what we found in almost any process, so I think that's what they're seeing.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. I want to give you an FYI. You can watch past discussions. They're on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. ABC7's Kate Flexter, Captain Sherman Baldwin of Paradise Boat Tours, and Jean Palin, the Vice Chair of the Holmes Beach City Commission, all joining us tonight. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather plus an update on the growing tension between North Korea and the United States. So stay with us.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251, 800-628-1251.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and co-insurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book and DVD. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. Call 1-800-558-8779.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, another contributor to our picks at mysuncoast.com, Cindy Desmond, snapping this just a few minutes ago and sending it in. And you can see the towering cumulonimbus clouds developing looking east at the drum circle at Nokomis Beach that takes place there on this day, I guess, right around 7 o'clock. Well, the Titan radar imagery not showing much activity, especially over South Florida. Some drier air has slipped in. To the east of Miami, there is a little tropical disturbance we're keeping an eye on, but that's moving to the west right now, staying to our south. We are looking at a little bit of activity starting to pop up, some lightning strikes associated with this. It's all moving to the west. It's going to have enough energy, I think, to make it all the way to the coast in some cases. The outflow boundary will create a few showers near I-75 here in the next, looks like a half hour to 45 minutes as they march off to the southwest. And not all that intense at this point, but expect the moderate to brief periods of heavy rainfall at times, an occasional lightning strike possible near Myakka Head, getting some rain, also Myakka City, near Bethany, some showers there. Not much west of I-75 until you go down to South County near Port Charlotte, a moderate shower there. Northport, I think you'll get some out of this as this system moves off basically to the west. So expect a brief downpour or two through the evening. Currently out of the Sarasota Bay, it's very calm out there. We have sunshine, 90 degrees, and the dew point temperature way up there at 74. The high today was 93. That is 3 degrees above the average. And the temperatures currently, where it's raining, it's cooled down. 76 in Jacksonville, it's 90 in Sarasota, 87 in Key West. Tomorrow's forecast, it looks like we'll see showers and storms around scattered about late afternoon and evening. Generally throughout the day, though, lots of sunshine and temperatures nearing 90 degrees. Well, here's a look at Hurricane Franklin. Is going to make landfall as a hurricane, a Category 1, but top winds could reach up to 85 miles an hour before it does so, and then it makes its way into central portions of Mexico. So they're dealing with that down there. And we're dealing with this right here. This is a system just to the east of Puerto Rico now. It's showing some signs of organization, not much, but it's still kind of holding together. We're starting to get a little rotation there. So the Hurricane Center gives us a 50% chance of developing, which is pretty fairly high over the next 5 days. Not over the next 2, though. And the forecast for this mass of clouds to move off to the northwest, to the north, and then eventually off toward the northeast over the next 5 days. So that, again, is something to watch, but not too concerning for us here, as is expected to bend away from Florida. Well, the forecast is looking like this tonight. Scattered showers around, then fair. Tomorrow, sunshine, plenty of it throughout much of the day, and then increase in moisture will bring us a chance for showers and storms in the late afternoon and throughout the evening. Not everyone will see the rainfall, but there'll be scattered storms around, and it looks like the best chances will be along that sea breeze front in the late afternoon and evening. Similar conditions anticipated for Friday. Temperatures around the states, so with 67 in Minneapolis now, it's cooler weather there. 79 in Chicago, 76 in Atlanta, and 85 now in New Orleans and in the hundreds in Arizona. For boaters tomorrow, east winds turn to the northwest, light chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now 91. Sunset in just about 24 minutes from now, and we'll see partly cloudy skies and temperatures again into the upper 70s. Tomorrow, a high near 91 and 40% chance for those late day storms. The extended forecast, a little bit better chances for scattered storms as we head into the weekend. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half-mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid, your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-319-0237.
Independence U, for an independent you.
Call 1-800-319-0237.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-759-0203, 800-759-0203.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
Checking out our primetime headlines, the war of words and fear of war with North Korea. The rogue nation making strides towards putting a nuclear warhead on a missile. Is the heated rhetoric from both the U.S. and North Korea making the situation even more dangerous? ABC's Emily Rao has the latest from Washington.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury.
An overt military threat from President Trump, turning up the dial on nuclear tensions with North Korea, and their leader, Kim Jong-un, not backing down. Overnight, Pyongyang responding, saying it's seriously considering a plan to target Guam, a small Pacific island home to crucial American military bases and more than 7,000 U.S. forces.
An attack or threat on Guam is a threat or attack on the United States.
The heightened tensions coming after the latest assessment from U.S. intelligence analysts who now believe North Korea can make miniature nuclear warheads small enough to fit inside an intercontinental ballistic missile.
They will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
President Trump's heated rhetoric met with criticism and concern by some.
The question now is, does this ramp up? Does the rhetoric continue to ramp up, or do things begin to calm down? The next few days will be critical.
But Wednesday morning, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson trying to calm frayed nerves.
I think Americans should sleep well at night. I have no concerns about this particular rhetoric of the last few days.
And new video showing tens of thousands of North Koreans at a rally today, a show of support for the country's rejection of new, crippling UN sanctions. And President Trump tweeting about the U.S. nuclear arsenal this morning, saying it's stronger than ever, adding, hopefully we never have to use this power. Emily Rao, ABC News, Washington.
New today, FBI agents raided the home of President Donald Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. Agents reportedly seized material in Manafort's home as part of the ongoing Russia investigation led by special counsel Robert Mueller. Manafort's spokesman confirmed the search, saying, quote, Mr. Manafort has consistently cooperated with law enforcement and other serious inquiries and did so on this occasion as well. The FBI raid took place at Manafort's home in Washington's Northern Virginia suburbs late last month, a day after Manafort met with Senate Intelligence Committee investigators. The hunt in Missouri for the man who allegedly killed a police officer is over. Ian McCarthy, who police say in Missouri fatally shot a rookie officer during a traffic stop, is under arrest. Authorities say Officer Gary Michael, who was with the force less than a year, pulled over a suspicious vehicle without headlights late Sunday and was shot shortly after. McCarthy has a criminal history in New Hampshire that dates back to 1997. Tiger Woods is heading to rehab. Woods was arrested on May 29th, about 15 miles from his home in Jupiter, Florida, after officers found him unconscious in his Mercedes-Benz. Police found no evidence of alcohol in his system, but a mixture of prescription drugs. Woods will enter a DUI pretrial diversion program that lasts about a year. Woods pled not guilty to DUI, but will plead guilty to a lesser charge of reckless driving. Here's something you don't see every day. A giant inflatable chicken floating outside the White House earlier today. The chicken has a little bit of a resemblance to President Trump. This is not the first appearance of the chicken. The 23-foot-tall chicken has been spotted at the Tax Day March events when organizers were trying to get Trump to release his tax returns. The president was not there to see the big bird. He's on vacation in New Jersey. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.